Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is The Witcher 2 Dark Mode Difficulty video walkthrough. We're coming towards the end of Chapter 1, and this is Where is Triss Merigold? So, you can talk your way out of these fights if you don't want to do them, but I was kind of out for blood, and I wanted to fight, so I antagonized the people just so I could kill them, and right there, I nearly pay the price, because I don't know if you noticed what was happening, but when I went into that dialogue, I had my sword drawn. After the dialogue, Geralt had no sword drawn, so I assumed I would be able to go directly into fighting them. And because there's a significant delay on consoles when it comes to Geralt drawing his fucking sword, I almost got smacked. And it's things like that that really ruin this game for me at times, because it's such a silly oversight that probably works perfectly on PC. Like, it's just one of those little inconsistencies, and you might wonder why I was stood over there just then. I'm trying to get into more fights, because I like fighting on this game. Somebody mentioned on the first video that they couldn't play the game because they felt it was repetitive and boring, and I definitely understand that criticism towards the combat, because the combat is, you know, pretty repetitive, but there's something about the world that makes me enjoy the combat more. And I don't know if it's because I'm invested in the character. I don't know if it's because a lot of games I play involve hitting and running on their harder difficulties, so it's less about how inventive I am with combat and, you know, how efficient I am for a lot of it. I'm not too sure what it is, but I just enjoy it. Like, I think this is a great game that if you haven't played it, you should definitely check it out. And if you're on PlayStation 3, unfortunately, I don't think you can, because somebody mentioned in a comment that it's not available, which, that is pretty shitty and sad for PlayStation owners. I never really noticed it was exclusive at all, because normally when you get two people that are console enthusiasts rather than fanboys, because fanboys probably usually... The problem I have with anybody who calls themselves a fanboy or who uses the term fanboy, because I've noticed the only people that really do are fanboys, is it's all, you know, totalitarian. It's all one way, you know. So if you get somebody who's really into Xbox, they'll be like, you know, nobody wants to buy a PlayStation because it's crap this, it's crap that, it's crap that. There's no good redeeming facts about it. Microsoft is king. Other way around, Sony, you know, so amazing. Japan, awesome. Fuck you, Microsoft, money robbers. You know, they're brilliant. The other one is utter trash. There's no transparency between. There's no difference. There's no nothing. There's no conceding. It's just pointless. It's circular and it never ends. It's Ouroboros. It's the serpent eating itself. But when you get someone who's enthusiastic about it, they'll tell you the good, the pros, the cons, and they'll acknowledge stuff. And I like to think I'm an enthusiast of consoles, because I've got a PlayStation 3 and I've got an Xbox 360, and although I do favour my Xbox 360, there's a lot of experiences I couldn't have had if I didn't have a PlayStation 3. And I would rather, at this moment in time, play a PlayStation 3 than I would a next-gen console, which just goes to show that I'm favouring these over the next-gen stuff. And normally, people will throw exclusives in your face when, you know, you side for either console. And I've always been of the belief that the 360 has the better exclusives, and there's a footnote to this. If you're looking for graphical power, if you're looking for, you know, next-gen shit in your exclusives, the PlayStation 3 definitely has an edge, because it's a much more sophisticated and powerful machine. The Last of Us is better than some next-gen games for me, because it's just so completely amazing in everything that it did, and it's next-tier kind of gameplay, that. But I just think, as far as the series has gone, as far as the franchises go, you know, I don't think anything on PlayStation can compete with the likes of Halo. And I'm not a Halo guy. I personally don't really like Halo, but I understand the weight of it and the weight of the series, because it's a system seller. You know, same with Gears of War. I'm a massive Gears of War guy, and I just think it has the bigger names with things like that, and that would be my perspective of it. But I would have never ever mentioned Witcher, because I wouldn't have thought to. I would have assumed it was just on the console. And I'm really curious as to why CD Red Project, I think they're called, didn't think to try and get it on PlayStation, because this is a game that deserves to be played. And there's an entire community of people who only own PlayStation 3s or, you know, or only buy Sony consoles that are missing out on a fantastic game. And if they've got a PC, they might be able to claim it that way, but if they don't, you know, most people who are really deep on Sony and really don't like Microsoft wouldn't even think of buying a Microsoft console, which is always deliciously ironic at times when they're on a Microsoft machine, but that's just one of life's little ironies. And this sequence here, if you're wondering, it wants you to follow the blood spatters, but I actually know where this guy is. And if you know where the waterfall was, where you found the Ottoman Merc, I think it was called, that's where this elf is going to be. So just move your way to that. And I actually gave myself a bit of a disservice on this section because I didn't need to use the potion, and all the potion ended up doing was making it harder for me to see. So yeah, not very clever. But that's the statue that leads up to the Rose of Remembrance, which means this is the water, and just over here is the body of the elf that we need to talk to. There's the obligatory cutscene, and that is the end of the mission. So the only thing left to do is either pick Roche or Iorveth and then go to them and see what they have to say for themselves, which is what I'm going to be doing now, because I'm going to be going to Iorveth. But somebody asked me earlier in a comment, what console am I playing? And the easiest response usually is, it's generally 360 for everything. Especially when it comes to third-party stuff that's on both consoles. The first reason is because I like achievements. I don't like them as much as I used to, but I still find it fun occasionally to get them. And the other reason is the fact that a lot of the games were designed with the 360 in mind, so they perform better on the inferior machine, which doesn't make a lot of sense to some people, especially people on Sony's side, because it's not fair. You know, the PlayStation is this machine with this wicked architecture, but it's quite difficult to design for. So because of that, a lot of the devs, you know, pick the easier and the less superior machine, which was the 360. So a lot of the exclusives do perform better when it comes to frame rate and load times and things like that. And though some of them will be really nominal, there are, you know, storied cases of differences, and I think it's bullshit really, because I know I'd be pissed off if I only owned a PS3 and I was getting a subpar version of a game, which there's no excuse for it at all. And the cool thing about the new consoles is the divide once again is quite close, but I think Sony undoubtedly has the edge because they've got the better machine, they've got the more powerful machine. At this moment in time, they've got the machine that seems to be the easiest to use, the one that's most developer friendly, so they could literally do what I believe the 360 did in this generation, and you know, it essentially, I wouldn't say dumbed it down for the consumer, but it just made everything easier for everyone involved. And it's cheaper, which is massive. Cheaper is better, always. So thank you for watching, guys, and you take care now.